In the months leading up to a school shooting in Madison last year, the teenage shooter was openly talking online to other individuals about an attack.
And court records claim that she was plotting something. 15-year-old Natalie Rupnow killed teacher Aaron West, student Ruby Vergara, and turned the gun on herself at Abundant Life Christian School in December.
Investigative reporter James Stratton uncovers a dark online community linking Rupnow to other mass shooters across the country. And while her motive may never be clear, her methods and madness may have been learned online.
Police rushed to Abundant Life Christian School last December.
I've never seen so many cops in my life.
Responding to yet another tragedy striking a place of learning, this time in Madison. Since the attack, investigators and researchers are digging into her very public online past, piecing together the puzzle of Natalie Rupnow.
She exhibits many of the same behavioral characteristics that we've seen in virtually every other mass shooting that's occurred in the United States over the last 10 years.
John Cohen used to battle counterterrorism at the Department of Homeland Security. Now an ABC contributor, he leads a team of analysts working closely with law enforcement to detect and mitigate threats. Social media accounts showed Madison school shooter Natalie Rupnow viewing and sharing all kinds of content, glorifying violence, attacks, and other school shooters, including a post on X showing a video of a Swedish stabbing attack from 2015 where a man killed 3 with a sword. Researchers say these posts and her online actions fit the mold of the internet group True Crime Community, or TCC.
TCC and other similar online forums are one location online where individuals who are seeking justification for their desire to engage in violence, to express their anger at society, to express their feeling of being a victim, and they consume content found on those forums.
Research shows Rupnow viewed and commented on a mass stabbing in Turkey, live-streamed on Telegram. With no clear motive or ideology, attackers find like-minded individuals and methods all online.
They're consuming content that's placed there by terrorist groups, extremists, and others.
Rupnow viewed the Turkish attack live in August. 4 months later, she committed her own. And appearing to want to cement her spot in the TCC community, minutes before her attack, she shared this photo with the OK symbol and a locked Google Doc, which may have been a link to what investigators now describe as a manifesto they found.
Everything that she's posted, everything that the Madison shooter has consumed is now going to inform the next mass shooter.
Rupnow's online web spreads from Madison to Southern California, Florida, and Tennessee. A month after the Madison school shooting, 17-year-old Solomon Henderson committed an eerily similar attack near Nashville, killing a classmate, injuring another, and turning the gun on himself. Investigators say he posted photos of Rupnow, including a meme of her the day before he opened fire.
He was very impressed when he found out that she had committed an attack and that they had direct social media connection.
He was idolizing her in the same ways that she was idolizing other shooters and attackers.
Absolutely.
FBI and local police caught 2 others, they say, for planning attacks. Police near San Diego detained Alexander Paffendorf and searched his home. A court document says he told Rupnow he would target a government building. Prosecutors never charged him, but barred him from owning or having guns.
In terms of the gun violence protective order, whatever you feel is necessary and the Carlsbad Police Department feels is necessary, I'm willing to accept. So, just for future reference.
Near Palm Beach, Florida, in late April, police arrested Damian Allen. They say he was plotting his own attack. They confiscated his stockpile of weapons, ammunition, and police uniforms. In what appeared to be an online relationship with the underage Rupnow, Allen told her he loved her and said he had 7 places that he would strike. Since her attack, offshoot TikTok accounts with her name popped up in the TCC community. People, likely kids and teens, sharing videos and memes with her photos.
They get to a point where they believe that a school shooting is normal.
They get to a point where they feel that conducting a school shooting or some other type of mass casualty attack is the only way to bring purpose to their life.
The connection between the 3 and idolatry of Rupnow online further show how intertwined the TCC community is, and showing the layer after online layer police have to continue to dig through in the months after virtually every tragedy.
Is law enforcement behind when it comes to stopping these?
We are in a place today where law enforcement is beginning to catch up with a threat environment that evolves at internet speed.
And police also arrested Rupnow's father, charged with allowing her to access the guns that she used in the shooting at that school.
And James, Rupnow was on police radar years before the Madison shooting.
She was. Court records show that Madison police warned her father that she was on the internet engaging in, quote, high-risk behavior back in 2022. It's unclear what was done then. Madison police won't share any of the documents with us. Cohen says parents need to act quickly if they see their kid engaging in this type of content online. That quick action, a quick call to a local police department, can potentially stop an attack from happening.
And save lives. James Stratton, investigative reporter, thank you. State prosecutors charged Natalie Rupnow's father, Jeffrey, with 2 counts of providing her a dangerous weapon and contributing to the delinquency of a child. We posted that story for you on the 12 News mobile app.